faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow, faith, fire, and games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set, let's take the leap, our best quest yet. From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with controller in hand. Faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow, faith, fire, and games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set, let's take the leap, our best quest yet. From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with controller in hand. Faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow, faith, fire, and games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set, let's take the leap, our best quest yet. From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with controller in hand. Faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow, faith, fire, and games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set, let's take the leap, our best quest yet. From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with controller in hand. Faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet, from the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chomp's crew, come join the ride, with McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow, faith, inspiring games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set. Let's take the leap, our best quest yet. From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with control.
Go.
User in your channel started recording.
Beyond the Quest is recorded in front of a live Twitch audience. You may hear us addressing live comments during the show. Beyond the Quest may not be suitable for all listeners. You're going to hear real raw footage of real life first responders discussing anything and everything. You may hear from preachers, teachers, EMS personnel, 911 dispatchers, and more. Nothing is off the table, and nothing is edited out. The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the group Slim Chance Gaming or our sponsors. If you're easily offended, this may not be the show for you. Or then again, it could be. With all that out of the way, let's get started.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
We
A
do.
wild schizo has appeared.
Mama says it's early.
Some people's kids and their daggum parents. If anybody's watching, I'm gonna plug this in really early. Um, if anybody's watching, reach out to Altoids. We are trying to get them as an official sponsor of Beyond the Quest.
Wow.
Uh, I'm tired. I finally got my evoc done again, so next time I go to work, I can. Who is? Oh, bruh. Okay. It says I don't know. I'm just here for the ride, and it just looked like a whole bunch of numbers and letters. I was like, I was just fixing to say, who is? I don't know. You gotta have some spaces in there. Mm.
Yep.
You can blame Vet for that. Daggum, not getting called out already.
Yep.
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yep. Mama said, okay, aren't you supposed to be talking?
How's everybody been? How was your the time in between shows? I don't even remember how many days it's been. So, how was that?
I don't reckon not Chess.
We're hearing him just fine, Medic's wifey. Medic's wifey.
Well, feel like I've slept all week, and I'm still tired. So
Yeah, you're not coming through on your stream, medic. We can hear you, but your stream can't. Is your click on the three lines and go to properties and make sure it's selected to the right setting on OBS. That's fun. That's fun. We love technical difficulties in the middle of a live show. It makes things interesting.
do your job, Chad.
Huh.
Any better? Any better? Aha! I have a bar moving now. Okay. Can you hear me now? Good.
Yeah, you're coming through now on my side.
Yeah. Anyway, went to Harlem Globetrotters. Kids loved it. Wife almost beat some stranger up. It was good times.
Yeah, physical assault always is.
Makes the best
right.
YouTube videos, man.
You
Speaking
are.
of which, Schizo, you missed it last night. I got assaulted by a patient.
I didn't miss any of that.
It wasn't
I
Schizo's
yelled,
like 102-year-old girlfriend, was it?
No. But I yelled at this poor man so loud that they heard me from the nurse's station.
You're not allowed to yell at him.
Well, you know what? It happened.
Just like that, Napkins was looking for a new job.
That nurse come in and she said, "Will he not let you get it?" I said, "No," and he assaulted me, so I ain't dealing with it. Find somebody else. And I walked out.
Poor guy's like probably 93, can't move his arms, and he's like just yelling at you.
No, he scratched me, dude, and it burnt like a mother sharper.
My wife says in my defense, this chick about took out my child who had knee surgery and was on crutches. This is true. This is true. Who is doing really well since her surgery.
You talking
was
about me?
mean
Or
to
the
be honest.
patient?
Oh, was she there too?
Yeah.
And two of y'all couldn't get the blood? One hold down, the other one get the blood.
Listen, I ain't dealing with people scratching me and whatnot. That ain't happening.
Scratching
Bro,
you.
I
That's
have
what you're
literally-
calling assault?
I have literally seen a nurse get into it, and you put on gloves, go in there, and save the day.
Did they snap?
I don't remember.
The plot thickens.
He was putting on gloves to go help save this nurse, and I was standing back, leaned up.
I will.
against the
Okay,
cart.
wait. Hang on. Back up.
No.
So here's what happened. Okay,
Nah, tell me
we're
what happened.
we're on the floor. I'm gonna start from the beginning. We're on the floor. It's me and Schizo and another dude that works there, and we're coming down the hallway, and we hear this poor little nurse say, "Sit down, get out of my face," and then we hear Doctor Strong, and I start putting on gloves, and so does the other guy that's with us. And Schizo leans back on the cart. He says, "What y'all doing?" And we was like, "We're gonna go help." He said, we don't get paid for that."
He ain't wrong. I heard that a lot on the truck too.
You're right, bro.
But yeah, most of the time, whenever we say that, we end up having to deal with it anyway.
Yeah, well, nobody's coming to help us.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know if you would call security at our place of employment really help either.
How does that
No.
work? Like, I don't think those security guards are allowed to even touch anyone.
Bro, they carry guns though. Like,
And
I
shoot
don't-
water lines.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna turn my hip to the side, make you think I
You
got a
lose
gun,
my-
but we
But
both know I don't.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the security guards there got fired like 4 months ago because he went to the bathroom in the ER and left his gun laying in the bathroom. They found it like
What?
an hour later.
I was like Saturday night. Apparently, Napkins and his woman had an issue with a patient on 4E, where this patient went to grab her hair and he stopped her. He's like, "No, we don't do that." And I told her, I was like, "You've been on your own with me. I, was, I got enough. I got enough problems right now. Okay, I don't need another one." She'd have looked at me and been like, "Help me," and I've been like, "Defend yourself." That's all
Put
you
your
would have got
dukes
from
up.
me.
It did take for her to hold her down. She's 90 years old.
That's pathetic.
Sundowners
That's
is no joke, man.
That's elderly abuse.
4 people to hold down that 90-year-old woman.
Now, if she'd been 105, Schizo been in love.
Oh yeah, 100%.
She just started fighting, and it took 3 or 4, and Skitch will be like, "Marry me right now.
I don't know about
Tell
that.
me, tell me about the war, sweetheart."
Yeah, that's what I've been. Tell me about World War II. What do you remember? I'd have been all up in her face, grilling her too. I'd have been like, "Do you remember Churchill?"
Mhm.
Tell me about him.
Churchill was my hero.
Yeah, we had one patient once. She was legit 105, and she was in pain, man. And bless her heart, the whole time, Schizo was right there, just asking questions.
Bro, listen, she was born. Okay, she was born in 1917, bro. She was up there. Okay, and let me tell you something to put it in perspective for you. She was born in 1917. Wyatt Earp died in 1929.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Indeed.
That's mind boggling to him.
it is, dude. Listen, her dad was born in 1899. Do you know who was executed in 1899?
Nope.
No.
Go ahead and
His
tell us.
name his name was H. Holmes, America's first serial killer.
Technically, they're still not sure if they actually had him or not.
Don't you ruin his world.
H. Holmes was executed in 1899.
Oh,
He never got away because he built an entire castle in Chicago meant to kill people. He wasn't going nowhere.
No, he fled from there.
And actually, there's a place in Kentucky right now that's in Ashland. There's a hotel that I'm pretty sure is actually built around the um, plans of what it was called the Murder Castle in Chicago, but the hotel is just called the Castle, and I'm pretty positive that it was actually meant to be kind of a replica or a nod to H. Holmes.
The murder castle was actually an old school shopping mall that he converted into a
Wife
place that
says
he
you're
owned.
making stuff up now.
Like he had, so his whole
Oh,
thing was
you want
he
to go to toe to
did a
toe with me
lot
on
of
history?
insurance fraud,
Oh God.
and he used that insurance money that he made with the fraud to buy this building, and then he secretly converted it into this place where he could commit murders during the World Fair.
It's kind of
Yeah,
smart.
you'd have rooms that would lead to nowhere, gas chambers, all types of stuff, man.
Literally, the cliche like bed drops to basements, he had those.
They also think that H. Holmes could have actually been Jack the Ripper because he was in Whitechapel during the Ripper murders.
Eh, I think that one's a stretch.
I don't. I think it makes perfect sense because they think that Jack the Ripper was an American.
Hey, they think Elvis is preaching in Tennessee or somewhere. So,
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
seen that.
Yeah. I'm sure Bigfoot's been piloting all the drones around here too,
hey, you never know. Sam Squinch is real.
making stuff up. I'll teach you some history.
Don't you get him started now?
I,
Do have a quick announcement to anybody that is watching. If they have anything that they want to talk about live during the shows, thanks to our friend that everybody hates right now, Chad, we now have a live chat option while we are live.
If it ain't broke. Mama says and Michael Jackson's still alive. You never know.
I don't know.
You never know.
I kind of believe he is. Not gonna lie.
What makes you think that?
Apparently, there was a video that surfaced of after they had taken his body out, or they had went into the coroner's office or the morgue. Apparently, somebody did get out of the back of the vehicle with a like a jacket over their head, kind of protecting their identity. So I don't know.
I'm wearing a mask. I've seen that video.
Yeah,
It does make you question it because what little you can see of him does look enough like him to where you're kind of like, makes you wonder.
I mean, but there's also y'all remember the whole Michael Jackson child thing that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
So there was, even though a lot of people accused him of doing it, there is also a lot of speculation going around that Michael Jackson, when he was obviously a child star, y'all know that. Um, there's speculation that he went through the same type of abuse in Hollywood that a lot of these kids go through. And
I could see that.
in the end, there's a lot of people talking that he was trying to protect these kids from the same thing that he went through.
I mean, two of his most famous, I guess, friendships is how you should put it, were with Macaulay Culkin and Corey Feldman, and both of them
Both of
have
them
been
were
on
abused. Yeah.
record stating that he never did anything. But they have accused other people in Hollywood. So it
So
does make you go, well, if they're willing to name names on other people, why would they cover for him?
Right.
not only that, but I think that Michael Jackson, he was the king of pop. You know, the man had a lot of influence. So
Yeah.
in the end, I think that if he wanted to push the subject of, hey, these kids in Hollywood are being abused, uh, there's going to be other people who are on his same level of power coming after him. And when you get into a situation like that, it may be best to disappear.
Right.
So I do believe that a part of me thinks that he may still be alive. He's in hiding, but a part of me thinks now I think he really did die. But I don't think it was an overdose like they say either. If he did die, I firmly believe that somebody might have.
Well, the autopsy showed that it was an overdose of his actual prescriptions. Like it wasn't he took too much, it was he was prescribed too much.
There you go.
Which my thing with too is like, I don't think he really portrayed like your your classic of somebody that would go out that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
He enjoyed the spotlight. He enjoyed the attention, and even whenever he was just trying to be in solitude and get off to himself and everything, I don't think he would have went out that way. Right on,
Honestly,
napkins, you own it.
you know,
Bound to be.
me and Mama actually talked about this son back when he did die, that there wasn't really enough evidence to point to him being guilty of anything, and at most it was more like immaturity on his part that allowed it to look circumstantially like he was guilty of things, if that makes sense. And we talked about the fact that due to his childhood, there was a good chance that, he may not have been as mature as he should have been for his age.
Right. I think that also explains a lot of kids nowadays too.
But like I said, there's a lot of speculation that Michael Jackson was protecting kids from the upper echelon of Hollywood and the music industry.
Now
Makes sense though.
there's been rumors for years and years about what the song Dirty Diana is really about. So
Anyways, napkins.
Yes, sir.
What's on the brain?
Um. Well, gotta find my note. Hang on.
Oh, you got a note.
I do have a note. It was a.
He's reading text messages.
I'm scrolling through my notes. Thank you. I gotta find it. Hang on. It'll
Daggone,
take
how
me
many
just-
notes you got?
Move on to somebody else till I find it.
Just guess so. What's on the brain? You're the only other one on camera right now. First one I noticed.
Uh, I think a topic we should discuss today
Mm-hmm.
is manliness.
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 Okay, you're gonna have to explain a little bit.
Yeah.
So, in today's day, what, in your opinion, constitutes manliness? Because I know you see it when you're scrolling through Facebook. You know, people think that manliness is being, you know, with a six pack of abs and a six-figure salary and a nice car and a nice home. What, you know, that's the world's view right now of manliness. But what is,
Well, the world's view of manliness is also getting your nails done with a ponytail.
but what do you constitute being manly? Like, where do you know what I mean?
Like in, like in my point, it's being like a good role model. You know, it's when you have to be the man of the house and you have to you have to set examples and teaching the kids right from wrong and how you conduct yourself throughout every day anyway, even if you don't have kids, how you walk your line. You know, I think everybody, not just men too, but I think everybody, whatever beliefs and things that they have, they should follow them. You know, if you, everybody should have a foundation on what they believe, because without that foundation, you're unstable anyway. I think everybody, whatever you believe, you follow it. You know, walk what you talk.
I think manliness has become so materialistic in this day and age that, you know, it really is today about having a six-figure salary. It's about
Yeah,
whether you're driving a Lambo or a Ford Explorer. You
right.
know, do you live in a three-story mansion or do you live in a double wide? And to me, I mean, I think that, manliness ultimately is gentle and it's kind.
I don't think manliness should be converted to money and appearance anyway.
Like I feel like men in general, they are gentle. A real man is gentle. He's stern when he only when he needs to be,
Right.
and he's kind. He protects the helpless and he defends the weak. I feel like true manliness. I mean, we got it right in the medieval times. With the when knights roamed, all knights had to adhere to a code. Like I said, protect the innocent, defend the weak. That to me is what manliness should be. And as a society, we have just
To be fair, in today's society, men don't know if they're men.
That's deep.
you're right.
That's true.
DEI is gone.
Taco.
I would say that manliness means having a strong moral foundation, like you said, based on your beliefs, like you truly follow them, followed by emotional strength. And I don't mean like you don't show emotions, but I mean you know how to conduct yourself and when it's appropriate to let your emotions really take over and when it's best to keep them held in check, and you're reliable to those around you who depend upon you.
Napkins, thoughts?
Um, I think manliness is pretty much kind of like what you guys said. It's about having a set of morals. It's about being able to like Schizo said, be stern when you need to be stern, but also be caring and um, being able to provide in a sense, even if you can't provide financially, provide emotionally and in a supportive role, and not being, how do I say this without coming across the wrong way? Not thinking that you're above it, for example. Like in my opinion, they're the olden ways as far as it's a woman's job to do the household chores and to cook and to clean and all that. I don't think that's true. And I think that if you are a true, I don't think that mm, you should be confident in yourself enough that you can do quote unquote the woman's role too, in that sense, as far as like the household chores and stuff. Like you shouldn't be one to say that that's the woman's job. Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? You should be there to support any way you can, even if it isn't financially. Also, to build off of what Taco said, I think that not necessarily should you not show emotion, but you should have control over your emotions and not go be confident in your emotions, if that makes sense.
There's a clergyman from the 1800s. His name is James Freeman Clark, and he actually wrote an excerpt on manliness. And he said that children adopt a false manliness from what they see, rather they adopt the vices of false manliness. They think that smoking and drinking and having a bunch of beautiful women on your arm, that's what constitutes manliness. But that's also where I get the point of he was the one who said, manliness should be gentle and it should be kind. If you refer to the Bible, it says that the meek will inherit the earth. You know, and I don't know if y'all know who Dr. Jordan Peterson is. He's kind of like a philosopher right now, but I think he's either a psychologist or a therapist. But he's making waves right now. If you get a chance, anybody who's watching, go check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff that you can listen to. But
I think like when you think of manliness, like I think financially side of anything should be thrown out the window. I don't think just because
Absolutely.
you're a man you should be bringing the money home. I don't think just because. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being a man that's bringing home money and working and things, but I don't think that money has anything to do with what makes a man or a woman a woman. And as far as the emotion side, like today's society makes it so they make men feel guilty for even showing emotion. Like a man's not supposed to cry and this and that, but I don't know. I think when I think of manliness, and the reason I refer back to your morals and how you conduct yourself and things was the greatest man ever to walk this earth. The world hated, and they killed him for it. He wasn't rich, and but he was kind. He when he had to be stern, he was. I mean, he made a cat of nine tails and laid a whooping on some people in a temple.
yeah,
But
chasing people out of the temple and whipping them and throwing over tables is not out of the realm of possibilities.
but the greatest thing he
Man,
ever told anybody was to show love, because love was the greatest thing, and that's the kind side that comes out. That's how we should conduct ourselves and loving other people.
it's it worries me that I say, you heard me say it just a while ago. We don't get paid to fight patients, you know,
Yeah.
and even though I would say, are you on your own, you know, uh, I wouldn't let it happen.
Don't let him fool you. He's a teddy bear.
Like there's a couple of times when me and McMedic were on an ambulance and
Well,
that patient got a little handsy and was wanting to fight, and I was right there,
I
Yeah.
will say there
Yeah.
was one that we had. Um, I mean, there wasn't nothing we could do with her, and we finally got her in the truck, was going down the road. She was not very cooperative and become very combative. We had to pull off. And, Schizo got in the back and he got very stern. And then once we got that run done, he legit felt so bad for how he had acted and what he had said. Like he legit, he was sorry for what he had done. Which he was being stern and it legit helped. But at the same time, he had compassion to feel sorry for how he had done it.
I mean, being stern, and I know exactly the Ron you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, I agree that I was stern, but the way that I went about being stern was it was pretty brutal, pretty harsh.
Well, I think one thing that also when I think of manliness is, being able to admit whenever you've messed up and owning up to it instead of finding excuses and laying blame on other things and just owning it.
They there's that's another thing about today's standard of quote unquote manliness is that it's okay if you do something wrong as long as you have a scapegoat.
Right.
And when a man messes up, he should,
Own it.
yeah,
It's cliche, but man up.
yeah,
That's, to me, being able to own your mistakes and try and correct them and learn from them.
yep. It comes back, take care of your kids, raise your kids right, raise your kids up and instruct them with the Lord,
Right.
you know, uh, do what in not only what you know in your heart to be right, but raise them up to be better than what they're seeing in the world right now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so I don't know. I feel like manliness is not a topic that's covered anymore. People are just too quick to say, "Oh, it's about money and girls," and
No,
it has nothing to do with that.
no, no. And in today's society, it's sleeping around makes you a man, and that's just baloney.
Yeah.
Hogwash. Did you find your notes, sir?
I did. I actually seen this on another video, and I thought that it was a great topic to bring to the podcast. So the question was, they were talking about the video I watched. They were talking about the quote unquote, I guess you could say, in this day and age where kind of, and it kind of plays into what Schizo was talking about, where men seem to be almost scared to talk to women about the stuff going through their head, or how their mind works, or whatever it might be. So the question was, if you could write something anonymous to all the women in the world, what would be one thing that you would say to tell women how men operated?
When they say I'm fine, they're never fine.
On that point, I feel like when you look back at like 1920s and 30s and 40s, there was a clear difference on how men treated women than the way we treat them today.
Yeah.
You know, it was expected of a man to hold the door, to you know
Have
make
manners.
to have manners. Okay, and I think now to the ladies in chat, it may sound like I'm taking a shot, but I'm not. I'm just pointing out what I see as a single man. Okay, those manners were expected then. Okay, and they're still to a point expected today, but society throughout the past 70 years has put in such an emphasis on women that men can no longer hold the standard by which women want to be treated. They're wanting,
I kind of get what you're saying.
I may have worded it wrong, but the standard that a woman wants in a man is now so high that men just can't, we can't compete with it. You know, your average man, and don't get me wrong, everybody in this chat, everybody in our this call right now is, we're we're regular dudes. You know, we are just, you know,
Regular dudes.
regular dudes. And
Yay, we're average.
I think women have, society has put such an inflated ego on so many women today that they think that they are the prize. And don't get me wrong, there are some women who are a prize in and of themselves. Okay. I'm pretty sure McMedic probably has the last woman on earth. Jess, talking about you. Okay. Yeah, exactly what she said. Most women watch too many fairy tales. And I mean, it's, so many women have such an inflated ego of how they should be treated and that women are the ultimate prize. But in today's day and time, you know, it's about working together. It's about working together more now than it was 70 years ago. So if the only thing you're bringing to the table is good looks, you're severely lacking. And I think that's something that men want women to know. Like, we're bringing, a man is bringing protection. He's bringing financial stability. He's bringing uh, all sorts of other stuff to the table. Okay. But so many women, they only bring themselves. And I think that's one thing that I would like women to know, that if you want the high value man, you got to bring something better.
That's deep.
I don't know that I necessarily completely agree with that. I think it's more that they have this mindset that the men they want or need have to have these 6 and 7 figure salaries, and they have to have these high end cars that cost the price of a small country. And I think that's part of the problem is they have unrealistic expectations of what they can find out there for regular people to compete.
Women and children today, specifically today, it seems, are valued simply for existing. But what I see is that men oftentimes are valued for what they can provide. Okay.
Instead of existing.
It's instead of, I may be dirt poor, but, and work a under the table job every day, but I still provide for my family. But if that under the table job goes under, you know, you're nothing but a broke piece of doo doo, you know.
I think one of the biggest things is everybody wants too much of the materialistic crap, and that's all they focus on. Don't get me wrong, I lucked out, man. My wife's absolutely gorgeous, and she's the greatest thing. But I think too many times on the men's side too, they look at what's on the outside, and that's what they want instead of looking on what somebody is on the inside. And I think that's one problem with how women view men nowadays is they want to look at the outside first before they ever get to know somebody on the inside. You gotta look up at your camera. What was your views on it?
So I kind of agree, but I think
Agree
I
with
want
who?
everybody to be honest. Like I agree with parts of everybody, but I want to read the reply that the gentleman gave on the video I watched, just because I think that it speaks to a lot, not all, but I do think it speaks to a lot of how men feel. Um, and his response was, "There's 10,000 times more going on inside the head of a man than you have any idea about. He's carrying burdens that you don't have a clue about, and he doesn't know how to express them, especially without scaring you or making you think less of him. He don't know what to do about it, and he thinks if he puts it out there and tries to communicate about it, he's just going to be shot down, called a fool, called weak, etc. So he carries it inside. You have no clue the burdens and the madness or the storm that most men are carrying every day and still trying to get through the day and not even showing it to the world."
I'm fine does not always mean I'm fine.
It's basically an elaborate way to say
Yep,
it.
true that. Taco, anything on your brain? Says ads are
Uh,
gonna play in 2 minutes. By the way,
Not really. I'm wondering if we've received more questions this week.
We definitely have.
I've heard we have, but I've not received any of them.
Same.
Yeah, the bot's broke, Chad, and he knows about it. He just hasn't fixed it.
Daggone Chad. Drop some daggone Chads in the chat. He don't even get his cool sunglasses. Are you pulling them up? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I am.
Good darker.
Should have already had that done.
You know what? I did, and my streaming software decided to crap out, so I had
Chad
to
is a
close everything.
disappointment.
Yeah, taco.
Well, before you start reading them, we should probably let these ads run. It's got a minute till they run. Um, which
Okay.
until before
got
they
mine
run,
set
I
up
do
too.
I do want to give a huge shout out to anybody that has been watching the show, that has found us on TikTok because that has blown up. Um,
Medic's famous.
I'm at a loss of words, and my thing about it is I just want it. I want this show to be able to reach anybody and help anybody that needs it. And for anybody that has watched that clip, I just hope that it's helped them. My wife
Um,
says, you know what, women perspective here. It doesn't matter if your man makes six figures a year if they're never home. They aren't here just to fuel your shopping addiction, etc. They want to be there watching their children grow as well. They want and deserve to be a parent as well. That's not just a mom thing. Get you a job too.
so I just want to throw this out to build off of what Medic was saying. That video has 8.3 thousand views on TikTok. Our podcast episode just on podcasting platforms, and I don't have all the numbers in yet, but we've got well over 1,000 listens on podcasting platforms. So huge shout out to all of our listeners. We've had
Much love.
over 2,200 visitors since the last episode streamed on our website, and over 30 Q&A forms filled out. Um, Not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna get to all of those on this episode. Some of those will have to wait. The majority of those will have to wait until the After Dark episode, just because there's a couple. There's several of them that's just going to be shout outs. That's just going to say your name and thanks because they just said simply "I love the show" or something along those lines.
It says ads are rolling, sir. If you want to go ahead and throw some plugs in.
I got you. Hang on.
Oh boy. Look at Skit's already rubbing his eyes. Pretty soon that camera's going to disappear and he's going to be asleep.
For those of you who are subscribers to McMedic's Twitch or are watching through either Napkins or mine, you also hear these ads.
By the
Level up
way,
your website game with GoDaddy. Hey, adventurer, is your website still stuck in the Stone Age? Stop waving sticks around and let GoDaddy's AI site builder do the heavy lifting. It's like having a party of wizards in your corner, but without all the fireballs accidentally hitting your teammates. Build smarter, not harder. Choose your quest, not need a site for your stream, a shop for your epic merch. The AI has your back. With just a few clicks, your site will look so polished you'll think you looted it from a boss chest. Pro tip: you don't even need to know how to code. GoDaddy's AI builder does it all for you, so you can spend less time stressing and more time gaming, streaming, or finally beating that dungeon. Exclusive deal alert: use the code Beyond the Quest at checkout for 30% off. That's like a legendary discount for the price of a common potion. Ready to build your online kingdom? Head to GoDaddy.com because websites this easy shouldn't be mythical. GoDaddy, where your site goes from meh to VIP faster than you can say critical hit.
Me.
One more. Angry Vet Nation, because you've served enough. Now it's your time to stream. Attention heroes, you've faced the battlefield, the firehouse, and the mean streets, but now the real challenge begins: setting up your stream without throwing the PC out the window. That's where Angry Vet Nation comes in. We're a nonprofit dedicated to getting veterans and first responders the funding, gear, and support they need to break into the world of streaming without breaking the bank or their patience. How we do it: we hook you up with pro level streaming equipment, teach you how to go live without cursing out your router, and build an awesome community of vets and first responders who just truly get it. So, whether you want to game, chat, or just rant about how back in your day multiplayer meant split screen and actual eye contact, we've got your six. Ready to join the ranks? Visit angryvetnation.org now and let's get you from combat boots to Twitch boots. Angry Vet Nation, because the only thing you should be fighting now is bad Wi Fi. And trust me, McMedic understands that all too well.
Straight up. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
What was you saying a while ago? Guess how you froze like.
By the way, we also get it. Listen to this. We have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we do.
So if you like the show and you like gaming and you like seeing Schizo get blown to bits in a Hell Let Loose battle, or you like seeing McMedic here just absolutely rage at Halo, or you like seeing Taco here complain, go give us a like and a subscribe. Show us some love over there. The more people we can reach with the gospel is that's the ultimate goal, man.
And the YouTube is at Slim Chance Gaming Crew.
All right. Time for Q&A, questers.
Questers.
Now I want to preface this by saying this one Q&A, number one, we apologize because of Chad. You had submitted your question on angryvetnation.org and it got overlooked because that form was no longer being checked. That has since been rectified. Also, we have added two 500 character boxes to our Q&A form. And this was submitted before that was done. So this is going to be read as if it's two parts. You just got to bear with me. All right. So this submission comes from True Fan. It is for everyone. They listen on Spotify. And they say, I may have to send this more than one entry because this will definitely be more than 500 characters. First of all, I love the show and what the show is. I'm looking for some advice. I have this friend, well, brother, I think you all can understand from the brotherhood that you have, and he says he's a Christian. I say it like that because a lot of what he does and says and posts doesn't match his actions, which to me is untruthful. I don't want to make him mad and push him or pull him away. And I know the Bible says to seek out your own soul salvation. So I do not talk to him and I'm just letting him do. So do I not talk to him and let him do his own thing? Do I talk to him and how? I want to be my brother's keeper and do right by God. I submitted it before and didn't get a read, so I thought I would retry. Stay safe, brothers. Medic.
Thinking how to word it. Move on.
Schizo.
Huh?
Huh?
Well, I do know the Bible does indeed say that there will be many who say, Lord, Lord, did we not cast out demons in your name? Did we not prophesy in your name? And Jesus said, Depart from me. I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. So,
True.
uh, a lot of people, they say they're Christian, and they may even do some things that portray them as a follower. But where does your heart truly lie? Does it lie with the world, or does it lie with Jesus? You
I
know,
think actions show that.
um, you can you can post Bible stories and whatnot, but in the end, everybody who comes into contact with you should see Christ through you. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't be angry or get aggravated. Okay, because God knows in the end we are people, and as much as we try, we fall short. That is something that's inherently true. Okay, I try every day. I go into work. I won't lie to you. I'm immediately in a bad mood.
100%.
You know, I don't particularly like my one of my jobs at least, but I'm never. I don't get angry with people. I talk to people, and I have very good rapport with people. Do I fall short? Absolutely, 110%. But the way I treat people, I truly believe that people can say he is a Christian. He does walk it, and even though he falls short, I can still see the message that he is trying to bring to other people.
I think when you
So,
see somebody that actually walks it, they're not just out saying it, but somebody that actually walks it.
so before
That's
we
the light that people that actually opens people's eyes. And like Mama just said in the chat, just saying in most cases our lives is the only Bible people read.
There's
So before we move on too much as far as like getting someone else's input, I want to kind of reiterate the end of the question there for you, Schizo. I get everything that you're saying, but his question is that he does not feel that his brother is doing the things that a Christian should or acting the way a Christian should. Should he confront him about it or no?
absolutely. Listen, there is one thing that the letters that Paul wrote to the churches of Philippi and Corinth and uh, is it just Philippi and Corinth? The letters Paul wrote, he he calls them out. Okay, people who are lukewarm, who are he even called out Peter. Okay, when Peter was acting all buddy buddy, but when the Pharisees came around, he was like, yeah, yeah, I gotta get away. I gotta get
Right.
away. You know, you if somebody is saying I'm a Christian and not doing the Christian thing, absolutely. You should absolutely call that person out.
And his follow-up question was if you feel that he should call him out, how does he go about it?
With love, I mean that's I feel like that's the only answer. Like you shouldn't berate them. You shouldn't make them feel like they're less than you, but bring up the concern and say, "Hey, you know, I know you're saying you're a follower, but some of these things that I'm seeing you do, they're not matching up with what I know Christ to be."
So to follow up on that, and if they get mad, and what did he say? Push or pull away in it.
He says, I don't want to make him mad. Hang on. I'm sorry. I gotta scroll through and find it. I don't want to make him mad or push him away or him pull away from me.
So what if one of those happened?
Jesus talks about the four types of seeds planted.
Yeah.
He talks about those that fall on good ground, those that fall on stony ground, those that fall by the wayside, and those that fall to the thorn or fall on thorns. And what he's talking about in that particular parable is the four types of people that are represented when they hear the gospel or they hear the truth. And that is when you're confronting somebody, you have to use the gospel. You know, if this person pulls away, then ultimately, you know, they're not the seed that fell on the good ground. They're one of the other three. But you know, that doesn't mean that there's not hope for them.
Right.
You still have to, as a Christian, it's your job to continuously fight for that person. Okay, point it out, invite them to a Bible study, read the Bible along with them. I say this all the time. Don't too many people use their Bible for a coaster. Okay,
Yeah.
too many people, they've got a brand new Bible sitting beside them and they never open it until it suits them to open it.
Right.
Pick it up and read it daily. Strive to live by it. It can be hard. Reading the Bible is so hard, but make
Especially
it
the
a
book of
habit.
Numbers.
Oh, buddy, Leviticus, son. That's
So how would you answer it, Napkins?
Um, so I agree with a lot of what Schizo was saying, but I'm going to follow it up by saying this. If he's truly your brother, number one, if you confront him about it, anger is going to rise. He's going to get defensive. He's going to probably get angry. Go about it with love, number one. Number two, don't go in it. How do I say it? Don't go in it making it seem like you're judging him, if that makes any sense whatsoever. In other words, don't try and make him feel like he's a bad person. Go about it with love. Pray about it 100%. Um, and if nothing else, ask him. How do I say this? Explain to him the things that you see that do not line up with what a Christian should be doing, and ask him why he thinks it's okay for him to be doing that and still proclaim to be a Christian. See what his views are. Um, just like, not to step on any toes here, but me and Taco and Medic follow a certain denomination and we have different views and opinions than what Schizo does. Does that mean that one of us is any more right than the other? No. But, and I don't know, we don't know enough of the context to know exactly what he's doing, but it could just be something that he's doing that he doesn't necessarily see a problem with that you do. There's certain denominations that believe that you can be a Christian and still drink. There's others that believe you can't. So it could be something along those lines. Again, we don't have enough of the context to know, and that's why I say go about it cautiously. But I definitely do think if it's something that's bothering you that bad, I think you have to bring it up to him. That's my 2 cents on it.
Taco?
So Christ actually outlined these steps for us in Matthew 18, verses 15 through 17. If another, and I'm going to use the New Living Translation to make it very plain and easy to understand, just in case anybody gets upset here. If another believer sins against you, go privately and point out the offense. If the other person listens and confesses it, you have won that person back. But if you are unsuccessful, take one or two others with you and go back again. Go back again. so that everything you say may be confirmed by 2 or 3 witnesses. If the person still refuses to listen, take your case to the church. Then, if he or she won't accept the church's decision, treat that person as a pagan or a corrupt tax collector. Uh, Basically, what he's saying there is if you know somebody within the body of Christ is committing sins, go to them. If it's, something that you have seen that isn't, you know, done in a public way that clearly puts this bad light on the church as a whole, go to them, just you and them. If they don't listen, take others with you as witnesses. If they still don't listen, then you have to bring it forth to be public knowledge. That is the most dangerous part, just because then it can feel like they're being attacked by, who's supposed to be their family. Uh, my advice is kind of like you said, point out the things they're doing and be like, look, this right here, this is a sin of lust, or this is a sin of greed or envy or whatever it may be, and explain to them how that makes it look and what the consequences of that kind of thing can be.
So I would say you definitely talk to them. Like Schizo had said, Paul called people out for what they were doing, and I know, you made the comment, Napkins, of not wanting to feel judged, and we're not supposed to judge and things, but the Bible also says to judge people by the fruits that they bear, and if you're going to give a judgment, to give a righteous judgment. Um, but I do think the most important thing is you do it out of love, and when I say that and how to go about it, especially if this person is as close to you as they're saying, you sit them down and we've said it before on this channel of when we've talked about relationships of being able to sit down like adults and talk. And I get, tempers can flare and things, but I think you sit them down and you say, this isn't me picking on you. This isn't, me ganging up on you and trying to make you mad and offend you. I'm simply talking because I'm concerned. And this is why I'm concerned. And you give your points and you talk. And if my thing is, if they get mad and they don't want to talk and things, the sad truth that we have to face is we can't save anyone and we can't help everyone. Some people just won't listen. But if you don't make the effort, you'll never know what you could have done, what your words could have helped. Maybe talking to them opens their eyes, you know. Um, Maybe I don't, but that doesn't fall on you. I'm a firm believer in, they mentioned it in the thing of wanting to be their brother's keeper. And I'm a firm believer in that because I think that's one thing that we can do while we're on this earth, especially with people that we feel like that are close to us, is being there for them to help them. And I think when you surround yourself with people, for example, you all, if I'm slacking in my faith, I want to know that you guys are strong in your faith to be able to call me out on it. You know, um, if you see me slacking and doing things I ain't supposed to, call me out. When I feel too weak to be able to pray for me. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want my brothers to be able to do for me. Mic drop, Mama says.
I I'll be the first to tell you that as far as me, man, I can get so angry. Okay, especially I work with Napkins right now. I also work EMS, and I'm so aggravated all the time with my job, and a lot of it has to do with how other people talk to me because I don't like to get angry. I don't like being angry. I don't like being mean to people. I like picking at people because that's my banter. That's how I establish connection with people. Goofing off. If you're ever in a room with just me and McMedic, you'll see
Lemon and
the
tangerine.
yeah, you'll see how me and him are with each other. And like I said, at work, I get aggravated. I get so angry, and I say and do things that I shouldn't do. But at the same time, the Holy Spirit should convict you of that wrongdoing.
Right.
It should be immediately there with a frying pan, you know, to knock you upside the head.
And sometimes we're doing things and we don't even realize it because we got blinders onto it, and God will use people, like in this situation, of He's laying it on your heart that it's bothering you that bad. He's using you to go to them. Angry Vet Nation says if saying something is what saves them from going to hell, and you're not obedient to what God wants you to do, and they die and go to hell, their blood is on your hands.
But absolutely, I'm pretty positive that God said He will hold you accountable for not speaking up. Like I could be wrong. I could have read that somewhere else, but it is your job. You know, one day believers will be called, and there's actually this he's a creator on Facebook. He's called the Bible Teacher, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, just look him up on Facebook. Go give him a follow. He's awesome with biblical doctrine and explaining things that we may have more difficulties explaining, or I may have difficult. Go check him out. But he said he did a skit one day. He gets to heaven and he says uh, he's sitting at the banquet table, and it switches over to him, and he says, "Wow, this is awesome." And he sees an empty chair sitting there, and he says, "God, are we waiting on somebody else?" And he says, "Do you remember that person I told you to tell about the gospel, and you didn't?" And that's that empty seat right there.
Right.
It's Jesus has given us all the tools to talk. You just got to open your mouth.
And even when we find excuses, He's got an answer. Moses said he can't talk.
Have y'all ever been in a situation where, like, you see a friend from high school, like at Walmart or something, and you kind of talk a little bit back and forth, like, "How you been?" Yada yada, and they say, "Well, it's been rough here these past couple weeks. I've got this issue, and the doctors don't know what they're going to do for it." And you talk to them, and then you say, "Well, I'll be praying for you," and you walk away, and then immediately something says, "That was an opportunity.
Right.
That was an opportunity for you to tell that person about God. Tell them the gospel." And I'll bring up that specific situation because that happened to me a couple months ago in Walmart, and I walked away and I didn't share it with him. But the good news is that I did get to share it with him a couple weeks after that. So I was given a second chance.
Napakano.
Are we ready for the next question?
I
Sure.
think so.
I think that's what you said, right? I was reading, sorry. The next one. Oh wait, hang on. That one's got to wait for after dark because it's directed specifically to Callistus.
Oh boy.
My
This
mustache is
one,
getting good and long again.
this one was submitted by Anonymous. For SchizoEMT.
Uh oh.
They
That's not very
listen
good.
on Twitch. and they say, heard one of the guys say it on the After Dark episode. By the way, before I finish this, I'm going to pause and back up just a little bit. Everything, all these questions will be re answered on After Dark just in case you listen to one and not the other. Trying to make it fair until somebody in the IT department can add a form field that specifies which show you want your question answered on.
Hold on, my headset died. Okay, it's back now.
Okay. It says, heard one of the guys say this on the After Dark episode, and I'm just curious. Are you really just a big teddy bear type of person?
Chas, was that you?
I think I made the comment earlier. He's a big teddy bear.
Who sent that?
It was anonymous.
Oh, anonymous, huh? I'll show you, teddy bear.
She said no, but you are.
Come on,
I-
Schizo. We know you walk around and you just play the Elvis song, Teddy
I-
Bear.
I absolutely am. Okay, I've got a heart of mashed potatoes. I think I don't like to be mean to people. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Uh, even if I don't like you, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Listen,
Okay.
I have seen Schizo be so fired up that he's ready to go fist fight somebody in the parking lot and be like, if I go down there and they say anything, I swear I'm just going to let them have it. And then we'll go down there and they'll be like, hey, do you care to get blah, blah, blah? And he'll be like, yeah, I got you.
Listen, I saw Schizo and another guy we work with. They's into it preheated. And immediately, I mean, he wanted to fight. He was rather mad. And then maybe 2 minutes later, he was on the phone with that person apologizing for getting as mad as he did, and saying some of the stuff he had said. And that's a teddy bear right there.
That's manliness.
That's manliness, son.
Okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get fighting mad sometimes, but
To be angry and sin not.
yeah. There actually, I'll tell you a story. There's another guy we work with, and me and him, he may be talking about the same person, but me and him, we like oil and water. Okay, we do not go together. Okay, a couple of weeks before I quit lifeguard the first time, I caught him walking in one day, and I think I had messaged McMedic on Snapchat like maybe an hour or two before I did this, and this was just after I got saved. Okay, and a voice kept telling me, "How can you be forgiven if you are unwilling to forgive?" And I want you to know that that is in the Bible. And I hadn't read my Bible yet. I hadn't started picking it up and reading it. And I caught that guy coming out, and I was like, "Listen, man, I know me and you have a lot of differences, and we've had a lot of issues, especially here recently. But I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry for all the things that I've put you through, and you've put me through a lot as well." And I said, "And I hope that if I forgive you, that you be willing to forgive me as well." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm sorry. I know things have been," he said, "It's okay for us not to like each other." He said, "But we don't have to be like this either." And we gave each other a hug, and that was it. You know,
Schizo the man. The teddy bear man.
I want to know who sent that question.
We let it be anonymous for a reason.
The women of EMS causing majority of these problems.
You keep your mouth shut.
All right. So this next one is directed to Ian Taco.
Oh boy.
It is from Bobby. He listens on Spotify, and he listens from Tennessee. And he says, you have mentioned in a couple episodes that you know a lot of lore on games and things. What would you rank your top three favorite lore for either games, movies, or books, and why?
Nerd.
Oh, so first of all, hi
Well,
Bobby.
we got a fan who just lost it back quick.
Hi Bobby. Glad that you're a fan. I do know a whole lot about nothing. I'm like a walking Seinfeld episode.
Not fishing lure. Okay.
It
Lore.
it's LORE. It's
The
so like
backstory.
how okay, Medic's wifey. You're wanting to know what lore is. A good example would be the story around a world or setting. So, like for Harry Potter, to understand why he's important, you have to know the backstory of how Voldemort tried to kill him but was unable to, and that's why Voldemort spends 7 years trying to do so and still failing. Uh,
Hey, he
for
tried really
me,
hard.
for me, my top three, I'm gonna go with Star Wars as number one. I've been a fan of Star Wars since I was a young kid.
Nerds.
Nerds.
When Disney first bought Star Wars from Lucas, I was kind of upset when they announced they were getting rid of all of the expanded universe because I really enjoyed a whole lot of it. Um, but I'm enjoying a whole lot that they're doing with it nowadays. Some of the stuff they've come out with that takes place in between the movies has been really cool. Some of the things about Vader, especially, has been really neat to learn. Number two, I'm going to go with the Dresden Files. Most people probably don't really know it that would be fans of ours, but it is set in the modern world, but it's what if all of the fantasy stuff was real as well as what is real for us now. Plus, there's different aspects of Christianity involved in it too. Like angels are a real thing. They don't directly interfere in people's lives, though. They say it's against the rules. If the other side breaks the rules, they can bend them. There's an order of knights known as Knights of the Cross. They all wield swords made out of the nails from the crucifixion. I always thought that was a pretty cool little take on things in it. But it all follows a private investigator in Chicago who is actually a wizard. So I just got hooked on the concept and have been hooked for years now. And number three, I'm probably going to go with Dungeons and Dragons: The Forgotten Realms, specifically because it's got some characters that I really enjoy, mostly due to the author R.A. Salvatore, with his character of Dritz Durden and the Companions of the Hall. They're all pretty intriguing in their own way, and he's really done a whole lot for the setting overall.
I uh I also like some video game lore. Uh, one of my favorites is Skyrim.
Skyrim?
Yeah.
Just
Uh,
Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls as a whole?
the Elder Scrolls as a whole. I haven't played Morrowind, but I did play Oblivion. And I played Skyrim. Uh, I've got quite a bit of hours in Skyrim, but yeah, I enjoy Skyrim a lot, and I enjoy There's so many books in game that give you lore about
Mm-hmm.
the Elder Scrolls in general,
Yeah.
and I do. I read those books. I know it's weird to read books in a video game,
Nerd.
but I will. I'll read the heck out of them.
Oh yeah, Morrowind
You don't get started
was
on lore. Don't get
really
me started on
detailed
Mario.
with them.
Yeah. Right off the bat, that's the main one for me. because and I also like to watch like YouTube videos on Skyrim lore about particularly in Skyrim the protagonist is what's known as the Dragonborn, and he's got the soul of a dragon, and he can use what's called shouts to help in combat or whatever. And some of the videos I watched talk about how a lore accurate Dragonborn would fight and how they would act. So and it talks about the gods of the Skyrim universe or the Elder Scrolls universe. The divines and the Daedra. So yeah, I also
Honestly, my favorite lore is Harry Potter. Until I was watching a podcast. Look at me doing podcasts and watching them now. Ain't that crazy? And there was a comedian in it, and he was talking about the lore of Harry Potter, and he said, "But it's so flawed. I'll never get into it." And I was like, "What is he talking about?" And he was like, you have these wizards that can just, teleport, evaporate, whatever you want to call it, but they send their mail by owls." And I was like, "Don't ruin this for me, man. Don't ruin this for me."
dude's got a point.
I just
Yeah,
want to
but when
say,
you think of Harry Potter, there's owls.
I just want to say it's kind of amazing how you've come full circle, Medic. Whenever I first mentioned doing this podcast, you're like, "What's a podcast?"
I
And now
know.
you're out here watching them.
I'm also I know it's not a particular game, but Lord of the Rings, man. Like I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
What are
I
you
mean,
thinking of
it's
their
essentially
show
the
they're gonna be
first.
doing?
On Lord of the Rings,
Yeah,
from what I heard, the next one is called The Hunt for Gollum.
they're
Oh, that's the next
releasing
movie.
one of the Rings of Power. It's supposed to be a TV series.
Oh yeah, I've watched both seasons of it,
They got a new season coming out.
and I know Rings of Power on Amazon gets a lot of hate, but
I've not watched it.
I found it to be actually really enjoyable because the Galadriel is the main character, and it's her when she was young and Sauron was just coming to power.
I forgot my.
And Galadriel, based on a lore accurate Galadriel, dude, she's a rock star, bro, in Tolkien universe. Okay, she can blink daylight into dark.
Oh
Okay,
God! Who's the real hero of Lord of the Rings?
Sam. Without Samwise Gamgee, Frodo would have failed.
You
See,
know, just to connect these topics real quick, one of the favorite series of the character Dresden himself and his series is The Lord of the Rings. It's his favorite fantasy series of all time. And in one of the particular books, he and a bunch of his allies are going on basically an epic quest to save somebody. And one of them counts up their number and says, "Hey, there's nine of us, just like the Fellowship." And they're all like stating who they are and everything. And they get to him, and he goes, "Well, it's obvious who I am, right?" And they go, "Yeah, you're Sam." He's like, "What? I'm almost 7 foot tall. I'm a wizard. I have a staff." And one of them stops him and points out, "You know that the real hero of it all is Sam, though."
Even J.R.R. Tolkien confirmed in his eyes that Samwise Gamgee was the true hero of his series.
He's
So
the only character to not actually be tempted by the ring throughout the entire series.
if you don't know what Samwise Gamgee saw when he held the ring, he actually saw the entire world as a garden. Like that's what he wanted.
yeah, because he
That
kept
was
eating out of
that,
them.
Because
Don't you talk about him like that.
he was a true gardener at heart. Like he really cared about cultivating and growing and helping things live and thrive.
You know,
Apparently, ads playing and have been playing, and I didn't know it.
Oh, well,
It's fine.
hopefully that
which
listener heard it.
you know what? That speaking of heroes, it's a perfect time to mention Angry Vet Nation. Angry Vet Nation is a brotherhood beyond the battlefield. For veterans and first responders, service isn't just a job, it's a way of life. It's the long nights, the hard fights, and the unbreakable bonds forged in fire. But when the uniform comes off, when the call signs go silent, that sense of purpose, that family, it can feel distant. Angry Fat Nation is here to change that. We're more than just a nonprofit. We're a community, a brotherhood, a place where those who have given everything can find support, connection, and a new mission. Through funding, equipment, and training, we help veterans and first responders step into the world of streaming, not just to game, but to reconnect, to share stories, and to remind each other you're never alone. Because the battle may be over, but the bond never breaks. If you've ever felt lost after service, if you've missed the camaraderie, if you just need a team that truly understands, you found it. This is home. Join us. Get the tools, the training, and the family that'll always have your six. Visit angryvetnation.org and start your next chapter today. Angry Vet Nation, because once you're family for life.
Mic drop. Speaking of which, are there things back open?
Yes, it is.
Trying to figure out where I need to point. Yep. Up there. Angry Vet Nation. You can hit the link down on the About Me on the channel, or you can go to angryvetnation.org and apply. You must be a veteran or a first responder. It's sad we have to make that very clear to people, but it's true. And you will not find a better group of people than Angry Vet Nation. Even Chad.
Even Chad, love his heart.
Even Chad. He says he'll be right back. I don't think he's going to sleep. I hope not, anyway. While we're waiting on him, Napkins, did you have a favorite lore or anything?
Man, I ain't never really got into the lore.
But you did
I
get into Arcane.
I did. I did. Now that I loved. I absolutely loved Arcane. I do wish that I would have got to read the lore backstories, especially now after watching Arcane. Um, I do wish that I would have read them, but I never really did read the League backstories, the lore behind all the characters and stuff, or all the champs. But I do wish that I would have. Um, because I do think that I would, especially after watching Arcane, that I would definitely get into them.
I am curious too. Speaking of League, all the changes that they have this season and everything on the game. I believe it was it Brittany through Anger Vet Nation that was the League player.
I
Griff Dunley.
believe so.
I was just curious if she's enjoying the new season. I have not really tried it much. Been playing other games.
But anyway, back to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, get off you,
So-
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Oh, it was Brittany. Look at me, my brain working. Any other questions,
Oh,
Napocano?
there's still several. Um, let's see here. So the next question also comes from a listener in Tennessee. Our family in Tennessee loves us.
Yay!
This comes from Nicole. She listens on Spotify. It is addressed to everyone. And it says, "First, I love how real the show is. You can tell there is nothing fake about it, and I love that. It's so down to earth. My question is, how do you carry out your day and still let being a Christian come first? I know it's an important thing, but how do you make sure at the end of the day you've always let that be your number one thing?"
That should be your number one thing anyway. Before I'm a phlebotomist, before I'm an EMT, I'm a Christian.
I think it comes down to making sure, at the very least, you are in a habit of controlling your actions to make sure that they line up with the Christian beliefs and behaviors. And as long as you have gotten to the point that you can do that fairly easily without having to actively think about it, you no longer have to start going, well, okay, am I doing this wrong, though? So it's about reading and studying your Bible, and it's about praying and fasting and seeking God. Because without your spirit being strong enough to do that, it doesn't matter how often you go through the motions.
I remind myself a lot. I wear these little bracelets, and they remind me of when I was little and I first ever got saved for the first time. I used to wear a bracelet and it had the WWJD on it, and I think of that a lot. Of when I'm have to make a choice on something, or if I'm dealing with something, or a lot of the times when I get up and if I don't know what I want to do yet with my day, and I'm thinking, well, what would Jesus do? And he tells us a lot in the Bible about praying and fasting and seeking Him. And I think when you're doing those things and you're conducting yourself throughout your day, what would Jesus do? Any video that we record and edit and post on YouTube, at the end of them, it's either God bless and Schizo saying John 3:16, or it's we love you all, but Jesus loves you more. And at the end of the day, if I get to say anything to anybody, it's to let them know that Jesus loves them.
Being a being a Christian should be your first priority. You're on the front lines as a Christian. Okay? It's
I think, not to interrupt you there, Schizo, but
What's funny is I have his camera sitting on yours, and you said that, and he's like,
go ahead, Schizo. Go ahead. Finish your
oh,
thought.
no,
Finish your
no.
thought.
I don't
Finish your
want to
thought.
interrupt you. Uh, we're like I said, we're on the front lines. We've been given a commandment. You know, how do we, you know, prioritize? How do we do all these things? But
at the center of everything you do,
yes,
it should always be the number one goal.
you know, we talk a lot about family on here, and we talk about a lot about religion. And when I look at a family, the hierarchy, I guess, of family, you know, you have God here, you have the husband, you have the wife, you have the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first thing right there is God. Okay, uh, speaking of not just families, but a single man or single woman who's a Christian, they should seek out His will above all. Do the will of the Father. That's in everything you do. Okay, put your all into it. Give it your best shot. If your best shot falls short, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's tomorrow. There's 5 minutes down the road. But give it your best. Do your best. Seek the will of the Father.
In no way, shape, form, or fashion am I saying that I am perfect and that I
Yeah.
do everything right. He said our righteousness is as filthy rags, and I fail a lot. I'm surprised my nose is not flat from falling on my face as many times as I have. But that's the point of the cross, is that He forgives us, and you go back to Him and you ask for forgiveness and you try again. You may go, Napkins. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Pretty much all I was gonna say, and I think everybody's kind of touched on it. But even as Christians, you're gonna fall short daily. You're not going to have a quote unquote perfect day. You're not going to live a perfect life. Um, you should always try to be Christ-like in everything that you do every day. And I feel like for me, it's the importance of knowing the things that you did fall short on and correcting them. letting his conviction
Do its job.
do its job
Yeah.
exactly,
Uh,
and
I don't know.
asking forgiveness for it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll watch this episode, but for those of you who watched the After Dark episode, there is another member of our crew. His name is Callistus, and he is right at the edge. He's starting to ask some questions about himself, and
The
he's
Lord's
listening to
dealing with him.
us. Yeah, hardcore. And if you're watching, if you watch the After Dark show, give him some love.
Yeah.
Let him know. You know, if you're a Christian, show him that love that we show, that we're
Like
supposed
I
to show.
said, and like I said, these questions will be re-asked on After Dark until we get that plug put in on where they want the questions read specifically. So, and also just a little disclaimer here: our answers probably won't be exactly the same because I'm just going to be full 100% disclosure. The guys don't see these questions before the show. I don't read these questions before the show. I will check and see how many questions are in there. Um, I will occasionally click through them and skim through them, but I don't really actually hardcore read or think on any of them. All these questions are answered on the fly. Um, so on the After Dark, the guys that are on here and have asked the questions will have a day to think about it before it's re-asked. So
Wife
the
says,
answers might change a little bit.
always remember to praise God in the good and in the bad. That's the hardest thing to do, but there is a reason that we may not understand, but we have to understand there is a reason and praise Him anyway. It is easy to praise Him through the good, but praising Him through the storm is just as important.
You've heard that song. I know everybody's heard the song "Jesus Take the Wheel,"
Yeah.
and let me tell you, that singing it in a song and doing it in real life is way harder. Okay, whether you're letting your friend drive your car, there's always the back of your mind. Even like I said, if you let your friend borrow your car, what if what if they wreck it? You know, what if everything goes wrong? And it can be just as scary sometimes letting Jesus take over.
True.
But I promise you that no matter how rough the road is, he's got he he's got it taken care of. All we have to do is let him do it.
Right. That's like, a few days ago, got an email about somebody had a big decision coming up, wanted prayer. Everybody to be in agreement with prayer. I said, sending up a prayer. If it works out, we praise God. If not, we praise God and keep grinding.
I won't lie to y'all. I've missed a lot of the church events here recently because I come home and I go straight to bed. Like, I want to go to my church because I love my church family and I have a good time anytime I'm there. Uh, we have a men's ministry thing that we do every Sunday morning from 9:30 to about 10:30, and I've missed a lot. I missed the men's ministry breakfast I was supposed to go to Saturday, but at that point I'd been up for over 24 hours, and I'm exhausted. I come home, I don't make excuses, I go to bed, and not being able to go weighs on me because not only do I want to go to see them, but sometimes when I don't go, I can feel my own faith getting
Weaker.
weaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to step foot in there and to be with those people, and when the altar call comes, or a time comes for people to go up to the front and pray, it gives my faith a boost that it needs.
Taco, before you answer, Mama says, in a bit of advice, always ask the Lord every morning to help you do one thing in that day to help someone.
You know, I ask him a common thing that I ask him is let me be the light to somebody. If the one thing that I do is be nice to somebody who's been mean, who's everybody's been mean to all day, I want them to
That, and you never know
recognize
who's
my
watching you,
interaction.
you know?
You know,
Yeah,
Taco,
I thought I already answered this at the start.
did you?
Pretty sure I was the first one, wasn't I?
maybe if you had a webcam.
I thought it was schizo. My bad. Onward, Napacano.
So it's going to switch gears a little bit here. I think that's pretty much all the faith-based ones that was submitted, and I'm hopefully we can get through all these on this episode. We're going to try our best. The next one comes from Eric. It is addressed to everyone. He listens on Spotify from Ohio.
Oh,
And
Lord, not the Ohio people.
he says, "What is one of the most embarrassing things you all have done? I don't know why, but I'm interested in hearing the answers. Love the show, guys, and much respect and appreciation to you and all that you do."
Skip it.
Oh, I've done so many embarrassing things, it's hard to think of one. Napkins. Let's start with you.
Oh gosh. I've got several too. I don't know. There was the time that I was at a Chinese restaurant and asked for pissy. Um,
No, that's not the most embarrassing. He said the most embarrassing.
I'm trying to think, dude.
I want to know if you've ever been streaking through a soccer field or something.
No, I ain't
We
never
need to
done
know.
nothing like that.
I didn't know how to flush a toilet once.
Can
Did
I
you,
get that
did you
bread
take like
now?
did you
Yeah.
take like a
It had like the handle. You had to like turn it up instead of down, and I was trying to get it down. It wouldn't go, and I didn't know what to do.
you just left it, didn't you?
I did.
Pro right there.
Taco, you done anything embarrassing?
Uh, I'm sure there's plenty more, but the only one coming to mind right now was probably about 8, 9 months ago. Me and partner at work were both exhausted. We'd been up for going on 36, 37 hours. We'd went to get fuel, walked in, got a snack and a drink real quick, come back out, and hopped in the truck, took off back to the station, only to pull in and realize we didn't take the hose out of the fuel tank.
You did not.
We did. We drove off, had it hanging out of the side of the truck.
I bet your captain had a hemorrhage.
Nope, he never asked questions about it. We took it right back to the gas station, apologized, told them what happened. They just laughed.
From someone that used to be an assistant manager of a gas station, that happens a lot more frequently than you might think.
Schizo. Embarrassing moment.
Got nothing.
Oh, come on.
Most embarrassing thing I've ever done was fall in love with a woman who played me like a fiddle. Okay. Everybody else knew it but me.
Well, to be fair, everyone been telling you.
I was going to say, was it really that everyone but you knew it, or was it that
You didn't
everyone
wanna
knew
listen.
and told you and you wouldn't listen to them?
Everybody tell you bet you listen.
See. Napkins, what was your embarrassing moment?
I went with pissy at the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, come on. You've got something better than that, don't you?
I probably do, dude, but I can't think anything.
Yeah, he really put us on the spot with that one.
Yeah, I
'Cause
wasn't
know I've
expecting it.
I know I've done way worse stuff than that.
I know I have too. I just can't think. We'll definitely have to think about that when we come back to it on Tuesday.
My wife says, was it McDonald's, man, Schizo? I know what you're talking about, too.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody this story because it's too good. So, me and another employee of EMS. We're working together. I don't think me and McMedic had gotten together yet, but we went to McDonald's. Okay. Actually, I'll give you this. This is probably one of my most embarrassing moments. This was before I became a Christian, mind you. Okay. We were at the counter ordering, and this person had their back to me. Well, I don't know if I could do it, guys.
Come on, Schizo.
uh, so what had happened was this person had their back to me. They were like at the ice cream machine or something, and I nudged my partner, and I was like, "Hey, check that one out." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a good one." Well, it turned around and had a full beard. Turned out to be a grown man. And I was like, I looked at him and I said, "Don't you ever tell anybody about this."
So naturally, he told everybody.
Yeah, naturally he told everybody. But appreciate that, Chas. One memory in my life that I wish I would have actually forgotten, and you had to bring it up.
My
On a
life
live
has so many
podcast.
embarrassing moments in it. It's really hard to narrow down what would be the most.
See, you're banned. Banned. Napkins, do the thing. The thing. Edit all that out.
Like I said, we'll definitely we don't edit anything.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, she says twice for me. It is pretty embarrassing when you get a divorce and you marry them right back to divorce them.
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
Banned.
that's a
Banned.
low blow.
That was a low blow from my wife.
Who's probably in the
napkins.
other room.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
You're banned.
We will. We'll definitely have to think about that one and revisit it on.
No, we
Tuesday.
don't. Me and
Yeah.
me and Medic's already been on the outs with it.
The next question comes from Jay. It is addressed to everyone. He listens on he or she. Jay can be either. Listens to the show on Apple Podcast from Canada.
Oh, Canada.
And they say, first of all, I
Daggum.
love the show. Oh wait, we have two questions from a Jay. One's from Canada and one's from the States. The Canada one says, first of all, love the show. You guys keep it real and are hilarious. Was curious if you guys ever had the chance to make it a living doing this, a podcast or a talk show online full time, would you do it? Or is it just something that you started and do for fun?
Listen, this started because I would be in here in the mornings just editing videos, and I'd mention to Napkins, I'm thinking about just streaming in the morning while I'm editing and having the chat pulled up. That if anybody ever found the channel and wanted to just talk, literally about anything, everything, they wanted advice, they wanted to vent, I don't have to know you. You know, I don't have to know what's going on. You just want to get in and vent, get everything off your chest, and then leave. Fine. Just a place that anybody could go to if they were going through something. And he said, "Why don't we make it a podcast?" And I said, "What's a podcast?" Would I do this full time if we had an opportunity? Yeah, I enjoy this. These podcasts, the Monday mornings and then the Tuesday evenings with the whole crew on. They are like the highlights of my week. This is what I look forward to. Um, it's just something about us being able to get on and talk, and even if it's hate mail that we get, it don't
Bro,
bother me a bit.
He's about that hate mail. Like one person sent hate mail, and he's like, "I ain't forgot about you."
I'd have to agree with Medic. I've wanted to do a podcast since high school, and whenever he came to me with the idea, I thought, what better way to do it than a podcast? It gets us growing. It gets our name out there on more platforms. We opened it up to the group, um, and thus Beyond the Quest was born. Then some of the guys seen us doing it, and
Sup, bro?
Wanted in on the action, so Beyond the Quest After Dark was then born.
Or woman? I don't know.
Long Spear 84, what's going on? Welcome
What's
to the
happening,
chat.
Captain?
Taco?
Yeah, I definitely think that if we could do it full time as, a living, I would definitely enjoy that. Uh,
You would have to
the
have a
whole,
camera.
well, that's supposedly being taken care of, though.
Yep, that's on the way.
Uh, I have to say that the group as a whole, it started off as more or less a fun thing for us to do that might eventually be able to help us out in the long run financially, but it wasn't something that we were holding our breaths about or anything. We thought, hey, maybe we'll get big enough that we could help out good causes. And we've been blessed to be able to pull that off a couple times. But I have to say, yeah, if we could afford it, I would definitely be down for doing all this stuff full time.
Well, my hair is falling out, so I'm not quite on Napkins' level yet, though.
Ah, some shade there.
You gonna answer the questions, Kizzo?
My hair's falling.
What's
What,
your hair
what
got
What's
does
to
that
that
do
have
with
have
to
to
it?
do
do
with
with
you
it?
doing this full time?
Oh, I was talking to that dude in chat.
Oh, good, thanks, bro. How are you guys? I'm blessed and highly favored, brother.
Doing
My
some
hair is
Q&A
falling
this
out.
morning.
And Schizo's hair is falling out.
Would I do it full time? I don't know. If it got to the point where I could talk on camera rather than, having to go to a job, yeah, yeah.
What an
That's all I
answer.
got. That's all I got.
Okay. So the next submission comes from Sherry. It is addressed to everyone. He listens on Apple Podcast from good old Kentucky.
Ooh.
Hello, Sherry.
And she says, first of all, I love the show. It's very unpredictable and makes you wanting to hear more. My question is for everyone. Are you happy with where you are in life? Is there anything that you would like to change?
I'm from South Africa and we need Jesus down here, brother. Amen. Everybody needs Jesus.
South Africa? Like, we talking like area South Africa or country South Africa? It don't really matter. I'm just curious.
What?
Are we talking about the area of Southern Africa or are we talking about the country South Africa?
Okay, I didn't hear area. I heard a different word, and I was like schizo.
Country.
I,
Oh,
I
Country,
know
cool,
you
bro.
got some family related to that bunch, but we can't endorse that.
country. Awesome, dude. That's cool. South Africa? That's cool, dude. Like, actually, South Africa, like, is one of the places I'd like to visit one
Oh,
day.
good Lord.
What?
Can we get back to the submitted
I'm
question,
answering the
please?
question right now.
There was no question. They just told you where they're from.
So South Africa. Before I was a Christian, I listened to these. There's a band from South Africa called Cedar, and as far as like secular music goes, Cedar is probably still one of my top 5 bands that I would probably listen to still. Yeah, he knows.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
The question was, are you happy with where you are in life, and is there anything that you would change?
Mm, I'm blessed to be where I am in life. I wouldn't change anything. Um, I think I'm happy where I am and continuing just to let God lead me where He wants me.
Yeah,
Private jet wouldn't hurt.
I don't know. You seen the news lately?
You're right.
There's not really anything I would change. We've kind of answered questions like that before, but I will say I don't know if I would say I'm happy or not, but I'm blessed because I can have a place to sleep, I can pay my bills, and I've got food. So
Blessed and content.
I'm pretty content as well. I mean, I ain't got a lot,
You
but
complain a lot to be content.
You daggum right. Try working at the hospital with him.
You try riding in a truck with him.
I know you ain't talking about me complaining, Napkins.
Yeah, I'm talking about you complaining. That's
Bro,
all you do is complain.
Bro, you right there with me.
What did I tell you? It got so bad that I said, Schizo, if you are that unhappy, if it's destroying your mental health that bad, just walk away.
Feel the love, Mama said.
Didn't say it was destroying my mental health. Mental health.
You act like
Great.
it. You come in looking like the depressed dude from Winnie the Pooh.
Eeyore?
If I remember
Yeah,
right,
Eeyore.
3 weeks ago, you had your 2 weeks resignation typed up and in your backpack.
And it's still there. I never said I
He
wouldn't.
keeps
one
that
foot
on
out the
hand
door.
in case.
Me? I ain't riding up no 2 weeks. I'm gonna be like, good luck.
Let the supervisor see you pull out the parking lot.
Yeah, wave at him. I'm going back to EMS.
Ain't that how you quit EMS the first time you walked in? You pulled in, looked at the supervisor, and just went, and then backed right back up.
100%. And then I
Didn't-
called him like 6
Really
months later.
did.
I was like, can I come home now?
What was
And
it you
he's like,
said? He's like, I saw you that morning in the parking lot.
He did. He said, I saw you pulled in. I looked at you and smiled. I was like, yeah, that's what did it in for me.
Any other questions?
Mm-hmm. Okay, this next one's gonna be a doozy for everybody. It's from Anonymous, addressed to everyone, listens on Spotify. Says needing advice, and that's the way it's typed.
Oh boy.
Me and my boyfriend have been fighting a lot, and I feel like he doesn't appreciate me anymore. All he does is stay glued to his phone nonstop, even when our kids want attention. Do you think he is seeing someone else, or that he just doesn't care anymore about me and the kids? How should I continue with this relationship?
Talk. Sit down and talk.
Is it
Turn the
cheating on you?
phone off.
They don't know. That's what
Does
they
your
ask.
boyfriend have a girlfriend?
They don't know. Do you think he's seeing some? Do you not listen, Schizo?
Not really.
All he does is stay glued to his phone nonstop, even when our kids want attention. Do you think he is seeing someone else, or he just doesn't care about me and the kids?
I think the boyfriend's got a girlfriend. I think you are officially the side now. He's got him steak and your mashed potatoes.
I would say there's really not enough information to decide there. I've got to echo Medic and say, sit him down and have a real conversation.
All
This
starts
goes
with
back
communication.
to what Medic said previous, and it's been mentioned several times on this show. You have to be able to sit down and have a conversation like adults.
I'll be honest with you. These things right here, they will absolutely kill relationships and lives.
Yep.
One
I
of the
think-
biggest addictions that anybody deals with.
Have somebody watch your kids and sit them down and say, "What's the deal?"
DI's gone.
Schizo,
Wow.
you all right there, bub?
Lord.
Long Spear, I got a question. The LA fires, it's a perfect storm. DEI or just incompetence?
Honestly, I have not followed that story close enough to really say one way or another.
I got an opinion about it.
Let's hear it.
You always do, Schizo.
I think you need to keep your eyes open. Yeah, what's going on in LA right now is horrible,
Yeah.
and I feel for those people. But I think this is a distraction.
I heard that the fires, it's a conspiracy thing, to try and cover up a bunch of the crap of all the Hollywood crap that was going on with Diddy and whatnot. To try and dispose of evidence.
I don't, I firmly believe this is is a cover up of some sort, a distraction. Uh, right now, there's been two plane crashes in the
Mm-hmm.
eastern seaboard. Uh, first off, saying on that one was an Apache helicopter, military Apache helicopter. I'm sorry, but
And from the video, it looks like it flew into the plane.
if I was going to be transported by anybody in this country and I had my choice of pilots, I would pick a military pilot.
I'm telling you, I've seen some of them land the medical helicopters that they fly in some of the places you never expect them to be able to get to.
So for an Apache helicopter pilot to fly into a commercial airliner, I think they're trying to. And there's been another one in Philadelphia, another plane crash.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to uh, divert our attention from the LA wildfires right now, and it's sort of working because I haven't heard a whole lot more about the LA fires. But I think even in South Africa, man, keep your eyes open. Don't let the media take your eyes off of what's important.
Distraction, sir.
Yes.
The wife says, make sure to point out the phone issue. Um, your kids are also going to notice little attention that they are receiving. I use my phone a lot, and so does Medic, but we make it a point not to have it in our face the whole time if our kids are around. Truth. That's what I was saying, man. They'll destroy lives, relationships, families, and everything. You get so addicted to them, especially when you have children. Um, I can speak for that for me and my wife. We try and give them attention the best we can, and it's hard to when you're on your phone watching videos and scrolling through them and texting and messaging and everything, and we get so wrapped up in it so easy too. It's so addictive, and even our kids, they have phones now. They stay on them on reels and YouTube and things. And there's times we have to put your phone down because that everything goes out the window. The only thing that matters is that phone and what's on the other end of it that you're looking at, who you're talking to, and all that stuff.
Phone usage has absolutely ruined a generation, and it's ruined more than one generation. The second, you know, before
Don't
phones
let
were
your
a,
child feel less important than what is on your phone. Vet Nation says create boundaries with the phones and set out specific time for family time, and during that time, no electronics.
phones have absolutely ruined generations. You go back and you see that phones at some point were just a luxury where
Yeah,
very few people had phones, and it was mostly people who they were used almost essentially for business purposes.
right.
And now you have,
You got a computer in your pocket.
yeah, the entire world is accessible at your fingertips right here.
Yep.
And it's one of the reasons why there's so many relationship problems in the world.
Yep.
You know, we see things on here who that absolutely change our view of things that shouldn't be changed.
Miss the good old dial phones.
You know, that you're 100%. Take the phones away. As a matter of fact,
Listen, my kids the other day were complaining about their phones. It's not working. Blah blah blah. And my wife was like, "You all wouldn't have known what to do with like dial-up internet." And I was like, "Y'all wouldn't know what to do with track phones."
I'm actually going to give a shout out to a company right now. I'm going to give them some free advertising. There is a company called, uh, let me see if I can find it. Hold on one sec.
While he gets that pulled up, I'm going to read the last one. It's not really a question, it's just a comment.
Mhm.
I actually, this is one whenever I opened to skim it, um, I sent it to the guys because it really hit home for me because this is what I hope that we accomplish both with our gaming group and with this podcast. I I want to create a space where people can rant or ask for questions or advice, even if it's just from five random dudes. You know what I mean? Like I just if we help one person, then we're doing good. And this one came in completely anonymous. They said it's for everyone. They listen on Spotify and they say it's not a question or advice really, just wanted to really say thank you guys for the show, especially the After Dark spinoff. I was stuck in a dark place and just listening to you all talk, give advice and laugh has helped me with situations I was going through and I finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. This group has been a blessing even if you all didn't know it. Much love from an appreciative fan.
Beautiful.
Somebody put an onion under my eye.
Uh, but that company that I was talking about, they're called the Light Phone, and it's about the size of an old pod or iPod. It's if you're watching, you may not know what an old iPod looks like, but you can text, you can call, and you can listen. You can download. You can put music on it. That's it. There's no internet. There's no messenger. So you still have a phone where you can talk to people, but the outside world of constant beratement of this is how the world is now and you should just accept it is gone. So if that's something you'd be interested in, check it out. It's thelightphone.com.
As far as that last submission you read, um, makes me feel like we're doing something good. You know what I mean? Like there's been times I've just wanted to, you know, not necessarily talk, but be able to hear something to help me get through stuff. And if we're able to help at least one person, you know, whatever they're going through, depression, anxiety, anything, you know, that hits home.
Absolutely. I like I said, that's my objective as far as this whole thing is to just be able to help people, even if it doesn't mean that even if it means that we can't go out and give a bunch of money to a nonprofit or something. If we can just help somebody that's going through a dark time,
Right.
that's we've done more good than we ever would with money.
And I'm really excited for Cal to hear about that because you know Cal goes through a lot too, and you know
Cal
everybody
has
goes through more stuff than what other people know, and
Cal
sometimes
himself has about 3 or 4 submissions to answer. So
it's just you know knowing somebody's there for you, even if it's just an ear to listen or anything.
Speaking of, if you guys have any submissions, questions, comments, piercing critical insights, hate mail, you can do so at beyondthequest.com. Click the contact us button. You can be completely anonymous as you've heard. You can put in your name. You can be on the show. All that stuff happens on beyondthequest.com.
Wife says, I love that you all have started this with the help of Angry Vet Nation. I've heard you all talk about goals and stuff behind the scenes, and getting those messages confirms that you're reaching people and helping people.
There's that onion again. um,
Hey, Long Spear, I read your chat, It says, dude, we only get leftist media here. Don't forget, South Africa has got close ties to Russia and China, so we're almost beyond saving. But as world leaders, we, the people of South Africa, look up to America. So get your crap together, America. I feel like America is America has fallen away a lot with their values,
Yeah.
and it's it's a tricky subject. It's a tricky topic to talk about. I love this country. I really do. And for the past 8 years, I've just been seeing it rip itself to pieces, day in and day out. So don't listen to the
America's not
leftist.
been what it used to be in a long time.
Yeah, don't listen to the leftist media. Don't listen to the right media. Make your own conclusions. Okay, go where you know that your country should be headed. Okay, don't
Till America puts God right back in the center where he should be, it won't get better.
I believe that Donald Trump is doing some good things for us, but I also think that sometimes Donald Trump lets his mouth override his butt.
Yeah.
You know, uh, just know where you stand and be willing to walk that walk. Be willing to defend it, because people like us, we're all it's got, and we're holding the line. So continue to do it, man.
Taco, do you have anything to say?
No, not really.
I
Really?
will
Nothing
say,
about that beautiful submission?
No, you all kind of covered it, and I'd like to think on it more before I say anything specific.
I will say, don't get me wrong, like we don't edit these episodes. We want to keep it authentic. We don't. There's not. We're not like some shows as far as much could be going on behind the scenes, but there's still a lot that goes on behind the scenes to these. And both me and McMedic know that personally.
Yeah.
Angry Vet Nation can attest to that personally. But getting submissions like that make it worth it. It makes the having 4 meetings in one day from sponsors and other people, it makes that stuff worth it to know that we're reaching, even if it's just one person.
I second that.
Man, I'd like to hear one of our listeners get on here and be like, man, because of you guys, I went to church this morning. Because of you guys, I got to know Jesus. That's that would be
Amazing. Awesome sauce.
just one person. It says all of heaven would rejoice. You know, that would be amazing. So if we can help somebody do that, if we can ease your mind a little bit about some things going on in your own life, you know, we all of us have had different experiences in life,
Yeah.
and so some of us, one of us somewhere, can probably relate to what's going on. Like I said, we're just normal dudes. We just we're just trucking along, bro.
Yay, we're average. Did you say that was the last one?
That is the last submission that we're going to get to on this show. There are some more, but from what I have been able to find, just skimming through them, they're all just thanks, love the show, stuff like that. So we're gonna do a speed round of that on the After Dark.
Super Mario says, I will say, since I've been listening, I've been going to a new church and have actually been going more frequently. And you're right, it feels like home. Praise God for that.
Told you, bro. Get involved with your church, man. Get very involved with them. Meet the people.
I heard somebody
Yeah.
say once that if you really want to know and connect with a church, and you really want to get the feeling of what it's like to go to a church, get involved in it, even if you're a greeter at a church or anything. And I will say, since I've been doing the worship team at my church and things, like when you get connected and involved in things that your church is doing, you get more passionate about it, and you feel more at home. You feel like you're helping to be able to reach more people.
Speaking of reaching and helping people, I'd like to take this time to give a huge shout out to Angry Vet Nation.
I thought you was gonna say Altoids.
From the front lines to the front pages of Twitch. All right, listen up. You've kicked indoors, saved lives, and handled chaos like a pro. But now you're in the ultimate battle against OBS settings and a Wi Fi connection that hates you, McMedic. Enter Angry Vet Nation. We're a nonprofit dedicated to helping veterans and first responders break into the world of streaming without rage quitting setup. We provide pro level streaming gear because your laptop mic sounds like a walkie talkie from NOM. We provide funding because that gaming PC isn't going to pay for itself, and a community that actually gets your humor dark, sarcastic, and 100% earned. So, whether you're here to game, rant, or just yell at your chat like a bunch of new recruits, we've got your six. Angry Vet Nation, serving those who served. Now with more headshots. Join the ranks at angryvetnation.org today. No push ups required.
Check them out. They are some of the best people you will ever meet.
And talking about
Thank you for the
talking
follow, Long Spear. God bless you, brother.
um talking about helping people, they are in the process of getting for all of their members. This just goes to show how great they are. They're in the process of getting free therapy and stuff set up for all of their members that might be going through something, whether it's PTSD, depression, anxiety, anything. That they can get on and talk with a counselor or a therapist at any point. No questions asked. Nobody knows. Just you and that person, you and that therapist or counselor, whoever you talk to. Um, that's just one of the many great things that this group does for their members.
Speaks volumes.
Just remember, you have to be a first responder or veteran. Go to angryvetnation.org and click apply now.
You can go somewhere every week and get nothing out of it. When you step out and go somewhere new, even if it isn't the same denomination as you typically go to, it could be life changing. Could be life changing, as we have seen happen in the last couple weeks. True, true. We had a boy get rededicated last Sunday, and then this past Sunday he got baptized. And I know him. He's a friend, and it's been a blessing to be able to see it, to see God moving.
Now I'm going to do one more refresh just to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, nothing new has come in, so that will be the end of the Quester submissions.
Question submissions. Anything on the brains, fellows? I know you two are probably killed out, tired.
You too. Somebody played hooky last night.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, he did. You completely knew about it too. I said, I ain't coming.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, what's wrong with Dylan? How's he sick? And I'm like, he's real sick, all right.
I don't know where
Can't
they
get out of bed.
I don't know where they got I was sick from. I didn't say that.
I just got to point out that Napkins and Schizo are two of the worst for doxing everybody involved.
Listen, that's the first time I've done it, and it's payback considering how many times he's done it. 4 times in one episode.
What, y'all think somebody gonna come out your house and be like, napkins?
No, I'm just saying that it's funny that you two do it so often.
Argue like brothers, don't they?
Yep.
Anything on the brains, fellows?
Anybody have anything, questions, comments, piercing, critical insights before we wrap up?
Nope.
Going once? Going twice.
I don't know. On my screen, you're pointing at Schizo, so I don't know what's happening.
It has been written in the scrolls of life. We shall move forward.
Make sure you all tune in tomorrow evening and for the After Dark episode.
7 p.m.
Callistus be here. Schizo, you gonna be here?
And he better be on camera because his webcam was delivered on the 1st.
Oh boy. Like Schizo said, make sure you guys show Kyle some love. And he's very nervous about being on a camera. I told him he ain't gotta be, just be himself,
Speaking of Taco, yours will be here tomorrow.
Everybody on camera. I'm just gonna set you all up and just be like poking at you the whole time.
Then I
Remember-
can point to everybody.
Remember, guys, for God so loved the world, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in him would not perish but have everlasting life.
Truth. So until tomorrow evening, till next time, we love y'all. Jesus loves you more.
Good night.
Bye.
God bless.
From the first light to the game's last stand, we're chasing truth with controller in hand. Faith, adventure, stories untold. First responder, hearts brave and bold. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet. From the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chop's crew, come join the ride. With McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the journeys meet. From the fires of life to the gaming heat. Slim Chop's crew, come join the ride. With McMedic, Napkins, and Taco as your guide. Beyond the quest, where the stories grow. Faith, fire, and games in the world we know. Adventure calls, the table is set. Let's take the leap, our best quest yet.